What's up? What's up? What's up again? How is everybody doing today? Pray everybody's doing well. Good to see you. Okay, we got a great conversation, a great discussion for this evening. We are going to be talking about an executive order. You know, there are so many executive orders being signed, seem like on a daily basis. So this one, I believe, is going to affect everyone's lives across the country. But before we get into that, we know I've been discussing about the tariffs. So if anybody been affected by the tariffs, let's go on. Should have went in effect midnight. This morning, last night, this morning. Yeah. So the 10% tariff plus the 125% and or $100 per item, whichever is greater, that's supposed to have went in effect today. And then June the 1st, it goes from $100 up to $200. That sounds kind of crazy, sounds kind of unreasonable, but that's where we are. Some Americans dislike it. Some Americans are fine with it. Just the way it is for right now. So what do you think? I believe it haven't really affected a whole lot of people yet. There's been some protests going on all around the country, but you know, the press is not really showing it. They might not even be allowed to show it. But yeah, there's a lot of protests going on. Then there's also some counter protests. Other people are very satisfied. They don't mind what's going on. They don't mind the tariffs. They don't mind pretty much a lot of things until it directly affects them. My point of continuing to have these conversations is to bring awareness and also to help people understand what's going on, so you would know that it's going to more than likely going to affect you, and be prepared to be able to deal with whatever comes down the line, whatever comes down the conveyor belt of all the different executive orders are being signed. So that's all just educational purposes only. But tonight we're going to be talking about an executive order. I believe it was signed midday, Monday or Tuesday. I believe it was Monday. And right here, let me go over here. Sorry. So the purpose we're gonna be talking. We're gonna be breaking down the little bit that's we found out on the news. So we can go straight to the White House website to find this information yourself. So we're here to confront the truth and explore what it means to you and what it means to your rights and your pursuit of your purpose. And what did we say last night? The pursuit of happiness. So I'm, a lot of people know, your host, Elder Little Joe. Most of the time I don't introduce myself. I think my name is up there on the screen. So this is just going to ask some hard questions. Like we should be looking at these different things and not waiting until the last second. So the question I had for myself, and the reason why I decided to do this show was, I think I asked it last night or some other nights where I was talking about the different executive orders and different things that's going on in the country now. So I asked myself, are we becoming a police state, or are we already in a police state? So that was my question already. And then this executive order came out. I was like, wow. I said, yes, if we're not already there, we are getting very close to becoming a police state. So we're going to get into it later on. So what does it mean to actually be in the police state? So this executive order, what does it mean? Was it really necessary? How can we stay safe in a world where the police have like almost unlimited power and nobody's going to be paying attention or even can have any kind of like oversight, from the public to keep rogue police officers and rogue police departments in check? So that's why. So a rogue police department, a rogue force will affect really everybody. Okay, so let's get into it. What is executive order? I got it down here. It is executive order EO, or Echo Oscar 14288. That is Echo 14288, strengthening and unleashing American law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. I'm going to read, that's the title. The full official title is on the, like I said, U.S. government website. Strengthening and unleashing. I just get stuck on that word, unleashing. That's a concerning word, unleashing America's law enforcement to pursue criminals and protect innocent citizens. I don't know if you know or not. A lot of the police, well, I guess we can dig into that at another time, but a lot of the elite, super elite, consider police officers as dogs. So for me to see this word unleashing, it just reminds me, it just like, why did they have to use the word unleashing? Okay, as usual, I digress. Let me get back on track. Okay, the executive order by the president gives more power, which I thought the police already had a lot of power, more funding, and coordination tools with the state and law enforcement. So giving them a lot of stuff, a lot of power. The official goal: combating crime, restoring law and order, and strengthening the ability of the police to act quickly across jurisdictions. Are we in having that much, that many problems right now? I know we have crime, but is it that bad the way they're trying to make it sound? That's my first question for tonight. Is it that bad out there? No, it's bad. It's got crime. A lot of times the crime stay in certain pockets, but is it that bad where basically is an extreme emergency to turn everything upside down and take citizens' rights away? So here's the official goal: combat crime, restore law and order. So what does that really mean? I thought someone said that the war is going to be over the day one, and that today's day 103, and with 102, the wars are still going on, and the other situations in the other countries is still going on. So it didn't go away. So law and order is not restored there, and I don't see what's their definition of law and order. I believe everybody's going to be locked in their house and not be able to get out and not have any kind of freedoms. So strengthen the ability of police to act quickly across jurisdictions. So I guess that's saying that some police, they have a limit, a restraint on how far they can do, but they can go. So I believe this is trying to say, do whatever. Seem like the way that I'm seeing these stories. Or have you been seeing these stories where ICE and a lot of the other federal departments are busting up in people's houses or just snatching people off the street, throwing them in the back of cars and vans and trucks with no kind of identification? And that should be, I believe, was illegal. So I guess this executive order is changing that to make it legal. So I guess anybody could just start grabbing people off the street and taking them wherever. We're supposed to be combating like trafficking, but it looks like we're making it normal. All right, let's move forward. It also includes federal support, data sharing with the FBI and DHS, expanding surveillance, sound like a police state, and possibly the National Guard involvement. So is it that bad in the country where we need to unleash the National Guard on its law-abiding citizens? I guess that's my question too. Is it that bad? Three, I thought the police already had power. What does empowering mean when they already had the authority to detain, arrest, and even kill in some situations without being held accountable? So let me say it again. Let me say it again for those in the back. So the police already have power. They can detain, they can arrest, they can even kill and not be held accountable. So what more power are you trying to give the police? What's that next power? So basically any kind of civil rights, sounds like any kind of civil rights that's slowing the police down. If a person say, I have the rights for this, I have the rights for that, I believe this is trying to say, no, citizen Joe PQ does not have any more rights because we need the police to be more empowered to do whatever. So the only way to give them more power, you have to take the power from someone else. If you know what I mean. If he already is a certain level of power or authority, so over a person already. So for him to get more power, that means, for the police to have more power over citizens, that means the citizens has to lose some rights. They have to lose something for them to gain. See, it's give and take. I don't think people are looking at that. So we're like, yeah, let's empower, give them more power. They got to get that power from somewhere. You got to give up something for them to get more power. So is that all that necessary? Police departments already have a lot of power. They have a wide range of power. In many states, law enforcement can search, detain, and even use force. Again, I've seen, I love, can I say this? I don't have anything against police officers. I thank God for our police officers. I pray for our police officers. So I don't have a problem with the police officers. Got some friends that's police officers. I pray for their safety. Don't want anything bad to happen to them. But what I do request and would like is for the police to have some kind of restraints, for the police to still be held accountable for what they do, especially wrongdoers. There's if they do wrong, that's for anybody. Everybody. What we say last night, we went different our rights. Everybody, every citizen, government officials, anybody, everybody in the government supposed to obey the laws. So this may, as I talk about this may be the what's happening is instead of officers, asking the officers to break the law. That's what it sounds like. Instead of asking the officers to break the law, let's give them more power. So breaking the law is basically, going against someone's rights. So to keep them from breaking the law, let's take away some rights, give them more power. Now they're no longer breaking the law. Yes, that must be the plan. I'm figuring it out. It's coming together. It's coming together. And so they already can search, detain, use force, and again, like I said, even kill. Police unions often protect officers from accountability. So it's more than the police unions. Qualified immunity shields many officers from lawsuits, even in cases of excessive force. So they got these extra protections. So they pretty much at the point of being immune for punishment. So they got all these things that's backing them up. Why do we need another executive order to give them even more power? Where is that coming from? You almost got unlimited power, but they need more power. So these shielded from lawsuits, that's almost unlimited power right there. So they can do whatever they want to do, and we can't sue them, we can't go after them, but we're going to give them more power. Please, somebody explain to me why they need more power. Yeah. So if they have already got this power over the citizens, who else? Why do they need more power? I want to show you something really quick. It's like if we've been told that the crime rate is extremely high, right? The crime rate is extremely high. So let me show you something. It's over here on this monitor. Man, let me see. I'm share screen. Let me see. I'm gonna try. I'm trying to show you something real quick to ask the question. So, okay, come on, you can do it. And this one, let's go with this and see how that looks. Open. Okay. So the police have a lot of power. Then we gave them immunity, and now we just gave them even more power because the crime is so great in America. But if you look it up, that's last year. Violent crime down 10%, 10.3%. Murder is down 22.7%. Rape is down 17%. Robbery is down 13%. Assaults are down 8.1%. Property crimes are down 13%. So the crime rate is dropping. And the crime rate has dropped. So is it a big emergency like they are saying? If the crime rates are dropping, but they're saying there's so many murders, and the country is in trouble. There's so much violence and crime and all this stuff is going on. We got to get the police more power. Is that the case? I don't believe that's the case. There's something else going on. So let me get back to it. Get back to, where did it go? Hey, lost my information. Hold on a second. Okay. So does this open the door for abuse? Critics argue that giving more power without reform increases the risk of abuse. So if you give someone unlimited power and unrestricted, of course, it's going to open up the doors for abuse. In many cases, the police misconduct have been a lot of the police departments and then police officers who had charges against them in over the over the years. So that was compiling a lot of the police officer misconduct. Now those charges have been dismissed, or officers has quietly been rehired at other locations. So they keep it quiet, or they just dismiss it. So like when something bad happens, is on TV, people are protesting and saying something needs to happen. And then they get a slap on the wrist, and then the crowd goes away, and then the person get hired at another location and does the same thing. And just the cycle continues. A lot of times the investigations don't go anywhere, especially if you don't have no camera. Like a lot of places, you're supposed to have a body camera in most places. A lot of people, if they committing a crime, they're not gonna have the body cam on. So a lot of times when they had issues, they would have a citizen review board. I believe they plan on getting rid of the citizen review board. That's how you give them more power too. So you got the citizen review board trying to keep them in check, and we don't want to keep them in check. We want them unleashed. That was the word, unleashed. No restraint, no oversight, no no one to make sure that you're on the straight and right, being righteous, being a righteous officer. We've seen how power can be used unjustly. If you give a system more power without changing its if you give a system more power without changing its ability, you're not protecting the people, you're protecting the system. Here is that. If you give the system more power without changing its accountability, so what we're doing is we're taking away its accountability to make the system stronger. Yeah, we're not protecting the people, we're protecting the system. So the system is getting stronger, the protection of the people is getting weaker. So I had this question, and I think that people, some of the social media sites don't want you to say these words. So I'm gonna change two of the letters around. I'm gonna call it Lasho Mall. Are we facing Lasho Mall? So no, but the answer is no. If you look at what's going on, we're not officially in Lasho Mall, but it looks a whole lot like it. So technically, we're not there yet. Lasho Mall is when the military takes over the civilian function. So basically, the military takes over the place of the officers and suspends normal laws, and constitutional rights can be limited. So I think giving officers more power and unleashing them, like that's the word they use, as unleashed. So you have to give up some of the constitutional rights for them to be unleashed. And then if that goes all the way and replace the civilian officers and then bring the military, pretty much no constitution rights. But what if you just give the officers just enough to not bring in Lasho Mall, but it still feels the same, smells the same, tastes the same, but it's just not all the way there yet. under Lawshore Mall, like I said, our rights will be suspended. You can be detained without a trial. Curfew will be put in place. And I was told some of these, I don't know. Again, I don't know about, I haven't researched it, checked it out, anything. But I was told a lot of these roundabouts. I don't know if your town, your city are putting in a lot of roundabouts in certain areas. They said those roundabouts is designed in many cases, many places, to be a location for checkpoints. So think about it. Just go take a look at your roundabout and see, would that be a perfect place for a checkpoint? So look like some stuff already getting in place in certain places. So under Lawshore Mall, which no rights. So now you don't have to have a trial, and you can be shipped out the country without a trial, without due process. See, that's why I was saying it looked a little bit like Lawshore Mall. Then they could set up curfews with checkpoints. Censorship can be enforced. So censorship. So we don't like what you say. So what's another way we get rid of the free press? That's one of our rights, right? A free press, freedom of speech, and free press. But it's saying it's going to take away your freedom of speech. Sounding like Lawshore Mall. I just saw today where the PBS and NPR, National Public Radio, and public broadcast system, so the local PBS that has the Sesame Street, those shows like that. I believe, I'm not sure all the way, but I know it was requested. I don't know if executive order was signed to take away all the funding from the NPRs and the PBSs. So that's supposed to be public, neutral, just tell the truth without being biased on any side. But if someone don't like someone telling the truth, let's take the money funding away from them, then they'll go away. And then we just bully anybody that says anything against us. We call that that's the censorship. Only say positive things. So the freedom of speech is taken away. So freedom of speech. So a lot of our, like I said, the media is not going to be free to tell the truth, or tell the whole truth. The media is being forced to just show one side and not everything. So if local police now get military gear, military coordinations, and federal backup, we are really that far from martial law. Well, really not that far. Like I said, I don't know if you heard that a lot of departments are getting the equipment. They're getting military grade weapons. They're getting military grade machinery and different things like that. So does that sound like we're getting really close to Lawshore Mall? It's just, I'm just saying what I see. So I'm not trying to be no what's that? My brain forgets stuff. When I try to think of something, I saw it. It was right there. I saw it right there. And as soon as I get ready to say the word, it disappeared. Okay. So anyway, I'm just pointing out what we see. Pointing out what I see. I guess if you looks like a duck, smell like a duck, walks like a duck, almost a duck. It's doing almost everything just like a duck, which is just right there. It's on the verge of it. So that means if you're that close, it just one phone call, one signature, we're there. We're in Lawshore Mall. Are you prepared? Are you ready for Lawshore Mall? I think I can say this again. Are we in a police state? A police state is when one the government uses law enforcement to control the citizens instead of protecting them. Hmm. A police state is one where the government uses law enforcement to control citizens instead of protect them. I see a whole lot of stuff going on where they're not being protected. This story, did I tell y'all about this story at this when we started? Anyway, so here's a story where mm, it was in the middle of the year. I think it was in Ohio just this week, just this week, where a family was moving from the East Coast to the Midwest. So they moved, got them a house, rented a house, moved in. So the mother and the two daughters had moved in. The husband was coming later. I don't know if he was bringing the rest of the furniture or something, but basically the mother and the daughters got to the house before the father did. And one night, in the middle of the night, the door was busted in. About 20 different officers from the different agencies busted up in the house, made her and her daughters get up, go outside, couldn't put any clothes on. They had to get outside, and it was raining, so they was put them out in the rain as they ransacked the house. As the mother is screaming and crying, and she saw one of the she saw three different departments on their uniform. A lot of times they do this; they don't even have any sign of who they are. But the three departments ransacked their house. She watched them do it. Tore up everything, took their electronics, took their computer, took their cell phone. Then they just moved in, so they wasn't really established. So she had cash to take care of her and the girls, the children. The children. They took the cash too. So they tore the house, all the pieces, just busted up everything, took the electronics, took the money, and then they're citizens. They didn't care that they were citizens. They still did it and let them go back inside, all terrorized, in fear. And one of the agents talked to her and basically said, "So, I'm a citizen. Why do I have to go through this? They don't care." But other questions like, "So when am I going to get my stuff back?" And they were like, "Well, you might get it back a couple of days, might get it back in a week, not sure." So they all grabbed their stuff, their weapons, because they pulled the weapons out on the kids also. So they leave. That sounds like a police state to me. And they, reached out to who did this, and the three departments was pointing to each other like, "No, we wasn't there. We had nothing to do with it." Point to the other department, "Yeah, we was there, but we were just observing. We really didn't have no parts to do with it." Point to the other one, they never responded, so they couldn't get anywhere there. So then the news people, the reporters, the national news channels reached out to all three departments. Same thing. It was like pointing a finger. Nobody know anything. They're gonna investigate and they're gonna find out. They're not sure. That's some nonsense. But we keep hearing. I'm starting to hear a lot of these cases where, um, stuff like that happens, or people get taken off the street, or they bust up in people's houses and find out they were citizens. And again, so I guess you heard too this week, the House didn't remove the amendment to make sure that American citizens don't get deported. So all the Democrats was like, "No, do not have that. Do not give them the right to remove U.S. citizens." Every single one of the Republicans allowed that to go through or voted for that. So they are allowing U.S. citizens to be deported now for what? Without no due process. Well, they said that is the process of deporting them. No due process, not able to go to the judge. And they basically saying there's so many people that we want to get out of the country that is what I heard. It's going to take 200 years to to do it the legal way. So let's find some illegal ways to do it. So so that's where back leaning more. I'm just like I say, it's looking that way. You you can give me your feedback. You can let me know. Does it feel like that? It feel like to me, it's feeling like a police state. So increase surveillance, reduce transparency, crackdowns on protests and wearing and warning signs. So you stand out with the sign, they want to crack down and come in. Or your freedom of speech is only the speech that we allow you to speak. It doesn't sound like a free country anymore. And even the protests doesn't sound like a free country anymore. Um, and then increased surveillance. We got cameras everywhere, and then our buddy. Where's my buddy at? He's usually close to me. I must have left. Oh, here we go. No, your buddy. Your buddy. Your buddy. Wherever I go, he goes. My buddy. Y'all remember that? My buddy. Your buddy that's always with you. Your buddy is telling on you and telling them where you are. So especially they're tracking people down. I don't know if you saw where there are a lot of immigrants, legal immigrants. They here legally, and they're supposed to like go to their court date at a particular time. I think they set it up, come to court every year, and that's what a lot of them. That's how a lot of them are getting arrested and deported. So they were here legally, and they're going to their court date like they're supposed to, and officers are there waiting on them to arrest them. Others are getting arrested because of their cell phone. They track them with the cell phone. I saw one of the guy he just went to his court case, and they tried to arrest him in the court elevator. Another one, they tried to arrest him right in the midst of court. They just don't disrespect the sanctity of our legal system. You couldn't even wait for him to come out. You got to bust up into the lady's courtroom. And they ended up arresting that judge. We're arresting judges now, but we still a free country. So please tell me, show me how my 1 + 1 = 2 is off. That's what we're supposed to have these discussions. I don't even know if I still have my rights to even have this discussion or ask these questions. We're supposed to be able to question our government, all of them, no matter who's in power. So when law enforcement is militarized and criticism of the police is punished, democracy is in danger, or democracy. We try to say anything about the way the police or the police state is. So you pretty much stay in your house and shut up and don't come out until they say come out. That's a bad state to be in. So when justice is one-sided, when people fear the police more than criminals, it's no longer about safety, it's about control. And I think, again, like I said, looking like a duck, smelling like a duck, people start to be more afraid of the different federal agencies. They just popping up and showing up. And again, a lot of them, they're wearing masks, they're wearing black clothes with no nothing on them, coming in unmarked cars and snatching people off the street and throwing them in the cars that some people never heard from again, or other people find out they in another country. So do we have that many criminals around the country doing that? No, but we got our federal agencies doing that. So yes, now the country is becoming more fearful of the police or the different agencies than we do for the criminals. And what happens a lot of times in those I guess I'm going to, that's in movies. I haven't researched this at all, so I'm going to say that right now. I have not researched it at all, but there can, I've seen, like I've seen some movies where there has been some police stakes, or got to the point where I always say police. It could be the military. It could be where the officials has gotten so bad that the citizens have to get protection from the criminals to get protection from the rogue, um, officers, or the rogue force. With that making sense. So like the people have gotten so much power and so much authority, and the people had no rights. It can remind me of other situations where millions of people were killed, millions of their of citizens were killed, and so their forces has gotten to that point. So now they need protection. So the criminals become the good guys because the official officers has gotten so much power and um, coming so hard, um, with so much corruption, that it made the criminals look better. So they ran to the criminals to get protection. With the criminals, yeah, let me spit it out. They ran to the criminals to get protection from the official officers. Yeah, that's a bad situation for a country or a society to be in. So, how do we stay safe? How do we protect ourselves? How do we even know? I think we got to check the news every day, see what rights we still have. We need to go to the official, White House page and see. It should be it should be a clock. We got a deficit clock. It should be a clock showing, okay, here's the Americans' rights, and then just we make a whole list of all our rights, and then every time one of them is taken away, we just draw a line through it. So we need to go every day. You go up there and do we still have that one today? And then a line through this and line through that. So every day just need to check what rights do we still have today, or what rights did we lose, so that the day of getting pulled over and telling the police, I got my rights, I got rights, and you better check the website first, because the rights that you think you have may not be there. You better check it. You better check it. And then, stuff that you thought, hey, I'm not breaking the law. You might be breaking the law now. You got to check the laws. Stuff is changing. Stuff is changing fast. So what do you do in different situations? So we're in a time of cameras are everywhere. So let's just say you have an encounter. You get pulled over. So we already know. I was always told, especially for women, if an officer is about, if you're driving and they're about to pull you over, you have the right. You have the right to drive until you get to a place that's well lit with lights. I think, man, I don't know the rules, so I didn't look this up. It just came up in my mind. So I'm guessing if you're about to get pulled over and you're somewhere where it's dark, I think you could put your hazard lights on to let them, you acknowledge that they're behind you, about to pull you over, and you slow down and you drive to a well lit place. Hopefully, it's real close. If you take a long time to get to a well lit place, yeah, they might they might turn bad, especially again, the day and time that we're in now. So safety, try to be safety and as careful as much as possible. But it's still better to be around a well lit area, and even hopefully there's cameras around where you go, and that leads to your buddy, my buddy. Can I sing it again? Wherever I go, he goes. You know what this is? It's a camera, and it's a video camera. So if you know, and the situation is going down, hit record. I don't know if this is right or not, but I will go live. In certain, if you feel a certain way, just go live. It can be if it's a boring stop and everything good, that's okay. That's good. Delete it later. But the reason why I say go live is because it's gonna be out there. Because somebody you just recorded on your phone, one it probably never. If something bad happens, let's just say that something bad happens, and you just recording, your phone could be um, unalived. So your phone could go away, and whatever's in your phone could be deleted or restrained. But if you go live and that information is going out there, it's going on the cloud, it's not that hard. It's not that easy to make that information go away. That's just my suggestion. I don't think it's anything illegal against that. If a lot of people start doing it, yeah, it's probably gonna be an order to say you can't do that anymore. But for right now, I believe as of the time right now, like there's something could probably be getting signed right now, taking that right away. But I think you have the right to be able to record the interaction, and I really suggest that record it, or even more, hit that live button. Just about everybody got a buddy, and their social media platform is within a couple of clicks away. That's again, I this is not scientific. I just made that up. I think that's a good thing to do. Uh, you got one right, I believe. No matter what, you still have that right to remain silent. You might get beat up by being silent if they keep asking you questions, but you still have the right, as of right now, I believe, to remain silent. But I saw one officer or a lawyer was telling people to remain silent, especially if you're not getting arrested. Well, we uh, we've been, like I said, they said, the lawyer said, officers said, it's best to remain silent, I guess, as much as possible if you're getting got pulled over. Because what one this I believe an officer said, if they got something on you, they're gonna arrest you. They don't have to ask a whole lot of questions. But if they don't have anything on you, they can keep on asking questions and get you talking. And the more you talk, you can let something out. But and I'm talking about legal, illegal. I'm just saying, let's say you haven't even did anything wrong, but you keep talking, they can find something that's going to bring up some suspicion. You know, anything. You can just be. I can't think of an example right now, but right, basically, the officer said if they have something on you, they're going to arrest you. If they keep on asking questions and keep on talking and keep prying, they're really searching for something. They're looking for something for you to slip up and slip out, and it still can be minor. It can have nothing to do with anything, but it's just they're looking for something to get them going. To well, not all. I'm just saying that's not all officers do that. So please, I'm not saying that because like right now, as soon as I get off this live, I'm going to get on one of my shows that I like to watch on the weekend. I don't know if I can say the name of it, but it's a TV show that follows police officers around the country and show the interaction of when they pull people over. It's not always bad. I don't know why. I just it's just anyway. I just like seeing what's going on throughout the country, and I like see I'm watching like what's happening. What did the person do wrong? What did the officer do wrong? So I'm just watching and studying the situation. So again, I don't have a dislike of officers. I don't look like the way the system is being changed. I don't have a dislike or distaste for the officers. So that was a long way of saying a whole lot of words to say keep quiet as much as possible. And you can ask, am I being detained? So I've seen those. I've seen people videos and saying, am I being detained? And a lot of times the answer is no. Why? But I just say they don't have anything, they don't have a reason to detain you. But sometimes they detain you to try to figure out a way to legally detain you, give them a reason to detain you. I've seen some people with some attitudes. And am I being detained? Am I being detained? Please leave the attitude at home. It's not the time or the place to have the attitude, but you still have some rights as of today. You got some rights, so you can still ask, "Am I being detained? Why am I still here? If you don't have anything, any grounds to detain me?" But you remember, let's go back up some more before, if we can. So if they don't have the rights to detain, what happens when you unleash the officers? Does that now means they have the right to detain? So like you remember I said you got to give and take. So if you got the right to not be detained, we're unleashing them. So we taking away any kind of restraint. So now they might have the right to detain until they feel like they turn up every stone and search the car. I think that's another one. Do they have? I've seen them. They ask, "Do I have permission to search your car?" In the past, it was no. That you don't have to give them the right to search your car. But more than likely, they are. And it might cause you more problems, but it's it's a slippery slope. It's like a lot of people um, are like, I know I ain't got nothing in there. There's nothing at all in my car. So you're like, yeah, go ahead. And then they find something. And still don't have to be yours. I can remember one time uh I let somebody use my car. What was going on? This is when I was in the Navy. Can you believe what? Come on. December December the 12th is no. I'm sorry. Anyway, April, the middle of April, 100 days. Anyway, the middle of April was when I got out the Navy 30 years ago. So I've been out for 30 years. Can you believe that? 30 whole years been out the Navy. But yeah, one time I was saying that I haven't told this story in a while. I think I was in Boston. I was in Boston and I left my car with a friend. And when I came, so yeah, I remember I flew back from Boston and got my car and drove my car all the way back to Boston. And then because I think that's all I did. I flew in, went to my friend's house, got the car, got back on the road, and went right back and drove from Florida all the way back to Boston. And I think the next day or the day after, I saw I had sand all over everywhere and beer cans under the seat. So now I could have got busted for having open containers. It could have been sandy and dried up, and because it was a while. I don't know how long I was up there. Let's say a week. I don't know. Maybe the guy had my car for a week, so he could have the same day that I left him with the car keys. He could have went to the beach or the next day and had a party, and yeah, so had all those cans and everything. So now a week later or more, everything's dried up, so there's no liquid inside. But they still could have charged me with driving around with open container. It depends. You see, I went through a lot of states, so any one of those states, they have different laws. But just by having those beer cans under my seat, I could have pulled out, hey, yeah, you got the right. Yeah, go ahead. I ain't got nothing in my car. I don't smoke. I don't drink. I don't do none of that stuff. And then they go searching, and what's all these cans? Oh, I don't know. Where these come from? I don't know. You were drinking and driving. No, I wasn't. Yeah, you got these cans. I wasn't drinking and driving. Look, it's dry. They don't. You see where that can go? And then you're trying to talk about your rights. What rights? No restraint. What one of those rules? Ability to arrest. So maybe they might not have had the ability to arrest because the cans were dry and full of sand. But now if you unleashing them, all right, that's a suspicion. They can just say drinking and driving, arrested, because they unleashed. So what else can we do? Organize locally, join or support community oversight boards. As long as they're still around. If we still got a board to try to keep everything legal and on the up and up, join the boards. Push for transparency and continue to push for body cams. And then they need to release the body cams. Follow civil rights organizations. And because a lot of times you might have to call on them, and it doesn't even matter what your race is. You might be in a certain situation. You need to get some of these organizations to come help you out. Probably need to go ahead and donate to them now to be on the good side. So then when you're in trouble, you can call them. And they have these, it's something else, these lawyers on, I don't know what you call it. So basically like you get pulled over and you can push a button, bam, there's a lawyer right there on the screen. So I told you need to record to go live, but now I'm telling you there's this app. I think one of it's a black-owned business where it's an app where you push it and there's a lawyer. And so then you get pulled over and the lawyer is right there with you, answering questions and stuff right there. So that's some kind of protection, but it might get under the officer's skin, but it still can save your skin from some situations. Like, oh, he got a lawyer, or she got a lawyer. No, ain't no funny stuff gonna happen here. Protect your mental health. Don't let this stuff drive you crazy. Don't let it drive you crazy. This atmosphere is heavy. It can stress you out. Stay grounded, especially believers. Stay grounded in your faith. Continue to pursue your purpose. Remember to continue to pursue your purpose, what God has for you. You know what I'm saying? So if God told you you're going to be this or you can be that, and you go on there, you're going to get there. No matter what you see going on, you're going to get there. And say this again. Empowerment without accountability is not justice. It is injustice. Empowerment, giving people unleashed, unlimited power, and take away the accountability that is injustice. That's not justice. It's leading to oppression. Oppression from the people in the uniform. So I pray for those in uniform. I pray that they trust and obey God more than any unjust law. So we must demand both safety and fairness. Anything less, anything that's not fair and just for both sides, the officers and the people that's supposed to protect, that is not American. That is un-American. That's not patriotic. It's not patriotic for the government and officers to attack their own citizens. So I pray that we can get it back in check, back in line the way it's supposed to be, to protect and serve from the real dangers and not made up dangers. And one last thing real quick, I saw somewhere where they said where immigrants live, that's one of the safest place to live. That's some of the safest place. Some of the safest places in America where there's a lot of immigrants. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm out. Lil Joe out. Pray the best. Pray for you. Pray for me. Let's pray for God bless America and everybody else. So if they bless, they won't be coming after your stuff. Remember that.